The another type of vitamin is riboflavin. So let us understand the production strategies for the production of riboflavin. Riboflavin, like vitamin B12, is an essential compound for mammals, plants, and they are also growth factors for microorganisms. So the presence of riboflavin in food and animal feed, it is essential. It is also called as vitamin B2 or vitamin G, or it is also described as lactoflavin. It is a precursor of flavine mononucleotide, that is FMN, and flavine adenine dinucleotide, that is FAD. So riboflavin, it is a component of FMN and FAD. And as we know that these are important in biochemical reactions, that they are required as electron acceptors for oxidoreductases type of reactions and enzymes. If you see the powder of this riboflavin, it appears as a yellow orange crystalline powder, and the taste of this powder is bitter and it is odorless. It is hygroscopic in nature and it is quite stable to heat, and that's why the heating procedures can be utilized for the evaporation of water and for the concentration of riboflavin in recovery and extraction. However, the excessive intake of riboflavin is harmless, so there are no side effects. Therefore, this compound is added to many kinds of foods and feeds and multivitamin supplements. It is also added as a colorant, so there are dual advantages. So it imparts color, and another thing, it acts as a growth factor. Large scale production, it can be done by microbial fermentation process as well as by chemical synthesis method. Now riboflavin, it is a byproduct of acetone butanol fermentation. That means in acetone butanol fermentation, the principal organism commercial strain used is Clostridium acetobutylicum. And during this fermentation, this organism also has ability to produce riboflavin. So riboflavin is produced as a byproduct, and acetone butanol, it is produced as a major product. So in a low concentration, riboflavin is produced by Clostridium acetobutylicum during the solvent fermentation. And interestingly, this riboflavin, it is not synthesized in the log phase. So considering the characteristic of riboflavin, that it is a type of vitamin, it is a growth factor, it is required for the growth of cells. However, it is not synthesized during active growth phase, that is log phase, but it is synthesized during stationary phase of growth. So stationary phase, the metabolites which are produced during stationary phase, we recognize them as secondary metabolites. So this is a unique characteristic of this fermentation, that you can remember that it is synthesized during stationary phase, although it is a primary metabolite, although it is a growth factor. Now the producers of riboflavin are the commercial strains, bacteria, yeast, and fungi. Among bacteria, the commercial strain is Clostridium butylicum. Among yeast, it is Candida species. Candida gullimondia is the commercial strain. Candida flarae. There are several fungi that belongs to the class Ascomycetes, and these are the commercial strains and most widely used strains of fungi for the large scale production of riboflavin. They are Erythrothecium ashby and Ashbia gossypi. So approximately it gives yield of 7 grams per liter, which is highest among the different organisms in fermentation medium. However, the only the disadvantage of using these strains is that these strains are plant pathogenic. That means they are responsible for the production of plant infections. So therefore, a care must be taken while the discharge of the waste which is obtained from fermentation uh, is of is discharged. That means it has to be first sterilized properly before it's discharged into natural water system. So discarding should be maintained under proper guidance, and strict restrictions has to be followed. Now we'll discuss about the production of riboflavin by using the strain of Ascomyces, that is Ashbia gossypi, which is a fungus. The inoculum production. The inoculum production is done in stepwise manner. So initially the stock spore culture of Ashbia gossypi are inoculated into liquid medium, that is a culture development medium, which has a general composition of glucose as a carbohydrate source, peptone source of carbon and nitrogen, then constip liquor, and the pH of the medium is 6.5. Incubation conditions are also general, that is 26 to 30 degrees Celsius, and they are grown to germinate in this medium for 24 hours. Then this mycelium inoculum, it is transferred to 6 liters of medium containing similar inoculum development medium having glucose, constip liquor, animal stick liquor at pH 6.5, and then it is allowed to be incubated for 24 hours for the growth of mycelia under the similar incubation conditions. This is followed by further transfers for the appropriate inoculum buildup depending on the capacity of production tank, depending on the production volume of the production medium. So this step continues to get appropriate mycelial inoculum. Next, the production medium. Then this inoculum, it is inoculated, or the mycelial inoculum, it is inoculated into production medium. Now the production medium is like this. It contains glucose, carbon source, constip liquor, then animal stick liquor, and antifoam agents at pH 6.5 to 7. Then there may be inclusion of pancreatic digest of casein in the medium, which is associated with the improvement in the yield of riboflavin. This is a deep tank submerged fermentation that requires continuous aeration and agitation as the organisms are aerobic. The total fermentation period is 96 to 120 hours. However, few researchers have suggested a period of 7 days also in case of slow growing strains. Now there are different phases of fermentation. Phases means the events or the changes that occurs during the course of fermentation. So these changes are divided into different phases: first phase, second phase, third phase, likewise. So in the first phase of riboflavin fermentation, it is characterized by rapid growth of mycelia with very little riboflavin production. So there is rapid utilization of glucose. Due to rapid utilization, the pH of the medium it decreases due to production of organic acids. This organic acids can be neutralized by means of addition of neutralizing agents like calcium carbonate. Then at the end of this phase, the growth of the mycelia it stops due to the depletion of glucose. Then in the second phase of riboflavin fermentation, nitrogenous compounds are utilized by mycelial cells that leads to the release of ammonia. So degradation of nitrogenous substances it leads to production of gases like ammonia, and due to production of ammonia the pH of the medium it increases or it becomes alkaline. In the same phase there is rapid synthesis of cell bound riboflavin which is occurring as FAD, that is flavine adenine dinucleotide, and as well as it occurs in the form of flavine adenine mononucleotide, that is FMN. So this means that this riboflavin it is synthesized in the form of FAD and FMN. This is followed by the autolysis of the mycelia, which leads to the release of riboflavin in the medium, and that also turns the color of the medium to orange yellow. So this happens in stationary phase, and followed by that there is autolysis. Then recovery of riboflavin. So for the crude preparation of riboflavin, which is to be used as animal feed supplement or additive, the whole preparation, that is the whole fermentation broth, it is exposed to high temperature in evaporators. That means the first step is drying in evaporators, and this is by using the drum dryers. For pure crystalline product which is intended to be used for human consumption, the whole broth is heated at 121 degrees Celsius and it is heated for 1 hour. This heating it will help riboflavin to solubilize in water. So for the solubilization of riboflavin, this temperature is important, and it is also important to release the cell bound riboflavin in the medium. Next step is centrifugation to separate the colloidal material, that is mycelia. So insoluble impurities are removed and then the broth is ready for the extraction. Extraction from aqueous supernatant. Extraction of riboflavin from aqueous supernatant, it is done by addition of non-polar solvents. So non-polar solvents such as carbon tetrachloride and benzene, they are added to the aqueous solution so that this riboflavin it gets precipitated. That means this soluble form of riboflavin is converted into insoluble form due to increase the carbon tetrachloride and benzene are added in high amount. Therefore, this riboflavin it will get converted into insoluble form. That means it will get converted into precipitate. So the precipitate is then dissolved, it is separated and then it is dissolved in aqueous alkaline solution, that is the polar solution. So again insoluble material is separated here, riboflavin is separated here, so impurities will remain in water, then this precipitate is separated and again it is dissolved in polar solution at alkaline pH. So again the precipitate it will get dissolved in water. Followed by that, the next step is recrystallization of riboflavin. So crystallization it can be again done by acidification of this preparation. So the broth is acidified so that again riboflavin it will get converted into crystals or it will get converted into insoluble form. Then these crystals are separated and these crystals are ready for the drying, where the water molecules are allowed to be evaporated. So drying involves exposure of that preparation in drum dryers to high temperature. So this is a method of concentration. Drying is a method of concentration, and finally we obtain yellow orange powder of riboflavin. Now by using the another organism, that is Eremothecium ashby, the medium contains distillers solubles, skim milk, soybean milk or casein. These are the proteinaceous sources which are added to the fermentation medium, which increases the yield along with addition of maltose, sucrose and glucose. So this is the flow sheet for the production of riboflavin by using Ashbia gossypii. So this is spore inoculum, that is stock culture. It is inoculated into liquid medium to build up mycelial inoculum. Then this mycelial inoculum will go into production medium, where this is the composition of the medium. It contains glucose, corn strip liquor, animal stick liquor, calcium carbonate as a neutralizing agent, temperature 26 to 30, pH 6.5 with submerged fermentation with continuous aeration and agitation. Fermentation period is approximately 4 to 5 days. At the end of the fermentation, for crude preparations, the whole preparation will go into the evaporators, where the concentration will be done and water molecules will be removed. It will go to drum dryer in order to form a powder, and it will lead to formation of a crude product that will be utilized for animal feed supplement purpose. In case of purification, so first the broth is heated at 121 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. Then the contents will be filtered, solids and mycelia will be separated. Then there will be addition of non-polar solvent to convert soluble riboflavin into insoluble form. So it will lead to formation of precipitate. This precipitate will be then further dissolved in polar alkaline aqueous solution. Further recrystallization by acidification, and then these crystals will be separated and will go to drum dryer for the evaporation purpose, for the separation of solvent and water molecules, and finally we get purified riboflavin concentrate. This is